You see behind me, I have my vision board right here. I'm big on vision boarding and, I get my kids into it. I have them set goals every school year for what they want to accomplish during the school year and for themselves, because I think it's just so important to challenge yourself in that way. And so that too is a part of that, taking care of yourself. How are you satisfying those goals and desires that you have, and also
Mhm.
inspiring these beautiful children that you're raising?
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Beauty in You podcast. I am so excited for today's topic as we're going to dive into motherhood, self-care, and rediscovery. Our guest today is an educator and a life coach. She is the creator of Poise Moms. Her mission is to empower moms to prioritize their health while chasing their goals. Welcome to the Beauty in You podcast, Tanesha. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm
No,
so excited to be here. Thank you.
thank you so much for being here. And I know you have a story to tell us. Your journey is so unique, and I know you're going to inspire our listeners today.
I hope I will. My story, it's long, but it's still being written, right? Like all of us. Where do I begin? I think I'll start where I think I really started to discover who I am, who I truly am. And that was at 19 years old when, I grew up in Jamaica, the island of Jamaica. And they say man plan and God laugh, right?
Mhm.
I had the perfect plan. I was going to go to community college. After I finished, I was going to go to Kingston and go to university. And I wanted to be a sales and marketing hotel manager. That was a plan. And my senior year, well, not senior, it was my last year studying my associate's degree. One of my professors was like, I signed you up for a scholarship, Poyser. And I was like, okay. And it came through. I received the scholarship. And between January to September of 2004, my life completely changed. I moved to New York and I was going to school. And I think that was truly the time when I started to rediscover who I am, because it was the first time away from my family,
Mhm.
away from everything that I knew to be normal, to be, my norm. And so I really had to grow up real fast
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
didn't have my mom and I really started that rediscovering journey. And I think it was also that time that I really, my faith was strengthened because I had only me, I had myself. And so I really drew closer to my faith. I drew closer to God and really just met some amazing people who, thankfully, to this day, a lot of them are still like my really close friends, 20 years later. So that's where it begins.
That is so awesome. Coming to New York. How was that though? Like coming to New York, like being on your own. How did that feel?
So I had visited New York, I think at 3 years prior, like once. I was
Okay.
really Jersey. I was at my uncle's for summer, summer holidays, and we went to New York once. So that was like my second time experiencing New York. And it was
Mhm.
exciting. It was fun. But I was in college. So we were also broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was an international student. And if there's anybody out there who, that's their story, you know what I'm talking about. Being an international student here, having to navigate the immigration process, it is hard,
Mm,
and but again, I wouldn't have traded that experience for anything. It really made me who I am today. It gave me wisdom, it gave me strength, so I wouldn't have traded that experience. But it was not easy. I'll tell you
yeah.
that much. It was not easy, but with a lot of faith, a lot of praying, finding community
Mhm.
really, really helped.
One of the things, like when you're transitioning, I just remember being like 19 and going to college and just being so afraid of the unknown. Like I thought I had a plan, but I really had no idea. And so that unknown is like really fearful, but yet we kind of just have to push through and just believe in God's plan. What advice would you give to that young 19-year-old that's just like she thinks she has it all planned and she's like afraid to just push through, what would you say to her?
I would say, push through. I think a lot of it, and I look back, I think a lot of it, I was almost too careful, almost too worrying all the time, just really have faith that the good, the bad, and the ugly, it's all working for your good. Like God's got you, And I even though I was going through that process of strengthening my faith, I really wish that I had taken more risks
Mm.
and didn't worry so much because I was always worried, like, planning the next thing and making sure this was in place. And so I really just wished I had just kind of just relaxed a little bit and just understand that no matter what, he's always going to have your back.
Yeah, that risk word is like so scary, but sometimes we have to,
Yeah.
I call it like calculated risk still,
Right.
like
Right.
take the risk, but like calculate it to a certain degree. But we definitely have to take those leaps of faith in order to kind of get to, where we ultimately want to be.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Calculated risk and leaps of faith. Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, like you're going to be okay. But you don't
Hmm.
know that at 19. You're worried. You don't know that. But now looking back, you're going to be okay. You're absolutely going to be okay. Now, don't do anything silly.
Calculate it now.
Right. Calculated risk. But you're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think that's important. And I do feel you on like not going full out. I think that's kind of what I try to instill in my kids now. I talk a lot about breaking generational curses and like really pushing them. Like I really push like, what do you want to do? Follow your dreams, push. It's okay to be scared, like just to be that motivator behind them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna happen. It's okay. You're gonna be fine. You're not gonna fall flat on your face, but just like really pushing them to take those little risks. Like at the end of the day, we got them.
Right. Right.
But that's also something I know at that age I did not have. I didn't not have anyone telling me like to go follow your dream. It was more like, why are you doing that? Or aren't you afraid? Or like,
Yeah.
you're gonna probably it was like just not the positive self-talk I think we truly need when we're like discovering who we are.
True. Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So
Yeah.
now you kind of transition, you have your own company, you're focused on empowering moms and self-care. Where did that come from?
So that came about when I felt like I was drowning in motherhood. And
Mhm.
I needed to save myself. And I said, if I need this, then absolutely more mothers needed this. So I became a mom in 2013. And
Mhm.
again, my life completely changed when I gave birth to my first daughter, Elizabeth. And, it was just a beautiful experience. But also, I had those moments where I was like, but wait a second. My entire energy and everything is like in this little baby, which it, absolutely should be. But at the same time, I was thinking, I still have goals, I still have dreams, I still have things that I wanted to do. And really being in that position of first of all, mom guilt. Mom guilt will get you all the time. Do I
Yep.
focus on my goals? Do I then forget about my goals? Like where did motherhood then leave my goals?
Mhm.
And then I just came to the realization that in order for me to be a good mom, that I also need to prioritize myself so that I can be the best mom for her.
Mhm.
And that's just really kind of where it came from. And I just started practicing better self-care for myself first. And then in 2000, I think it was 2019, right before the pandemic, I really started kind of sharing that message online through Instagram and, doing posts and really kind of building that community. And then I
Mhm.
realized that just so many mothers resonated with that message. And I think that's how I met you.
That's how we met.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how we met. Because I remember the first time I think I shared something that you posted was kind of what I was always preaching, and it was something to the effect of um you in order to be a good mom, you don't have to forget your goals or something like it was something
Mhm.
in that sense. And I shared that messaging and then we connected because it truly is. You do not have to put your dreams and goals on the back burner in order to be a great mom. Like you can have it all. And through that journey, I think that the part that really leaves me inspired is the fact that my kids, and I say kids because I'm at 2 now, my girls are inspired by me chasing my goals and my dreams, because then it tells them that it's okay for them to do that. And it's just beautiful.
You're so
Hi, Sophia. I
sweet.
love you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's kind
Um,
of how that came about.
I think that that self-care, it's so like you hear it all the time. And I heard it so much, but I never in the beginning applied any of it, because yes, the mom guilt.
Right.
I felt completely guilty for wanting to do something for myself when my goal was supposed to be a mom, the best mom ever to this little person that now needs me. And then, so whenever I thought about what I wanted to do, I'm like, how selfish of you. How could you think about, any of those things when you have this person that needs you? And so it
Right.
took a while for me to understand the importance of self-care and continuing to follow my goals and how that filled my cup. And now I can, be everything that I can be. But that mom guilt, you're right. It is something that will drive you nuts.
It sure will. It will get you every time. And I like something that you said, say, fill your cup. We also have to remember that as moms, we cannot pour from an empty cup. And
Mm-mm.
so you have to fill your cup so much that you have an overflow. And that gets rid of all the resentment, looking at your husband crazy.
Yes, that part. Hmm.
It gets rid of the resentment. It gets rid of it, even over time, actually gets rid of that mom guilt. Because
Hmm.
when you fill your cup so much, then you can give an overpour to all the people that you're there for. In addition to being a mom, I'm also a teacher. And
Hmm.
so I have a high school teacher. So I have 120 students that I'm
Oof.
pouring out to in any given school year. So it's important that I keep my cup filled. And one of the other messages that I also have is the fact that self-care, a lot of people get it confused with, getting your nails done and getting
Mhm.
your hair done and, massage, all important things.
They cute.
However, self-care is so much deeper than that. It is
Mhm.
so much deeper than that. I like to think of it as a 360 self-care, right? A whole self-care. You're taking care of your mental, you're taking care
Mhm.
of your social, you're taking care of your physical, you're taking care of, the nails and the massage and all that things that makes us feel cute. But especially that mental piece, so important. How are you taking care of yourself mentally? And not taking care of yourself mentally to the point where you're waiting till you have a mental breakdown to go take care of yourself mentally.
Mhm.
And my niece, who is a certified social worker, she said something to me one day and it changed my entire perspective. And I'll share it here. She said that as a woman, as a human, as anybody, we have preventative measures that we take.
Mhm.
You go see the OBGYN, not when something's wrong, but as a preventative method, right?
Yep.
You do your once a year physical as a preventative method. You get your teeth cleaned every 6 months as a preventative method. What are you doing for your mental health? And I
Mhm.
was like, wow. Because prior to that, my thought process was, oh, you go see a therapist when something happens.
Wrong.
Right?
Yep.
You
Mhm.
you have a loss or something terrible happened. But she said, no, you go see a therapist as a preventative method. So in the event that something does happen,
Mhm.
you'll have the tools. You'll
Yeah.
be better prepared. And that just blew my mind. And
Yeah.
so I definitely went to therapy after that. And it wasn't necessarily nothing happened, nothing, it was literally just to have someone to talk to,
Mhm.
this is what's going on, this is where I am, this is what's happening in my life. These are the feelings that I'm having. And it's so funny. By the third session, my therapist was like, your job sounds stressful. Like, yeah, a little bit.
You should have been in here. Yeah, you're about right. Yep.
Right. So I say all that to say, and I share that, if there's anyone listening, and if you have that perspective of waiting for something to happen before you go seek help, just know that it is completely fine to do that do that in the reverse. Because if it's one thing that life promises, it's ups and downs. So,
Mhm.
right? So this
All
way
the
you have those
time.
tools.
All the time. Like we're constantly going through something and there's some type of stressor that's there. I think more so now we're hearing more talk about mental health, like the importance of mental health and go sit in someone's chair and break the stigma. Back then, it was like you're a little, crazy, you're
Right.
telling your business type of thing, but times has changed. And I think it is so important to just sit in someone's chair and let them hear you talk.
Yeah.
Because as women, period, we carry so much here. Like we're carrying everybody's stuff. I feel like all the time. It's like, oh, let me tell you. And it's like, oh, I'm carrying that and I'm carrying this and I'm
Mhm.
carrying this. I have to unload somewhere. And so I believe that therapy is so important. So you can unload that and unload those thoughts and feelings and things that you're going through, or even just to have somebody to hear you talk it through. Like, I just got
Yeah.
to get this out because it's on my mind. It's so important. So yes, let's change the game. Let's get on somebody's couch.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our mental health and prioritize our mental health because we have got to take care of ourselves. And it starts there. A
Yeah.
lot of what I talk about now too is just the power that we have and the power of our mindset and what we feed ourselves. And we have
Yeah.
to learn how to navigate life's challenges and still feed ourselves positivity. That doesn't mean you walk around all day like everything's great and nothing goes wrong. It's just we know how to now navigate those things when they happen. We're not spiraling out of control over a situation that never really happened and only happened up
Happen
here.
in your head, right?
So that mental health piece, I'm so happy you said that. It's just so important to incorporate in your self-care. And I cannot like stress that enough.
Absolutely. And I think the other piece of that 360, thinking of self-care is the last piece that I really love is going after your goals. And I call that the self-actualization, right? Like we
1%.
are constantly growing and changing as a person. And, you have to really view life as a lifelong learning process. And how are you growing? And it's not to say that you're always constantly chasing something, but it's really that, okay, you go after something, you sit in that, and then ask yourself, what more can I accomplish? Where else can I see this going? You see behind me, I have my vision board right here. I'm big on vision boarding, and I get my kids into it. I have them set goals every school year for what they want to accomplish during the school year and for themselves, because I think it's just so important to challenge yourself in that way. And so that too is a part of that, taking care of yourself. How are you satisfying those goals and desires that you have, and also
Mhm.
inspiring these beautiful children that you're raising?
Because they're always watching you.
Always.
Don't think they're not.
Always watching. Don't think they're not watching. Every year when I, put out my vision board, here they come and they're doing their vision boards because they're watching. They're watching.
Mhm. Breaking generational curses. Like I said, I think it's so important. We're implementing so much into them right now, and that they're going to continue to grow and then implement that to their children and just break the cycle. And
Yep.
yes, I think it's beautiful. And vision boards are awesome. I mean, you have to I say see it. You have to see it. Like I already see myself there. Already see myself on that platform or accomplishing that goal. Like I've done it. I see it. And then you speak it. And then you put an action behind it. Like all of those things make such a big difference. It's not just talking it like I want to be this, I want to be that, and you don't ever do nothing. Like you have to put the action
And it's
behind it.
so easy to not do anything because life is happening in the background, right? You wake up
Mm-hmm.
every day, go
Always.
to work, you come home, you make dinner, and it's just this, and the rut, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
so easy to just fall into that. And then you throw the birthday parties in there and the activities, and you have no time left, but you have to carve out that time for yourself. You have to just make the time because the time is not going to magically pop up. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
And so, systems, it's so important as a mom to have systems in place. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when are you going to spend time to make those plans for yourself? For me, it's my Sunday mornings. my systems time. I sit, I plan for the week, I planned out and for the month, meal prepping, all those things. So this way, the rest of my week can flow and I can
Mhm.
serve from a place of peace and not overwhelmed. Do I get overwhelmed by what time
Good.
Wednesday hits? Of course, it happens. But think about how much worse it would be if you didn't have systems in place, right?
Mhm.
So important.
Yep. So being intentional about what you have to do is very, very key. And figuring out what works for you and your family, I think it's key too. What systems can I put in place that's going to work for me and my family? So you don't have to do what everybody else is doing, but as long as it works for you and your family, I think that's truly important. It's just like, okay, let me be intentional. Let me ensure I get this done. There's going to be that, I call it the little voice. Like, I don't know if it's the voice or your heart or the feeling. It's that little something there
Or
that's like telling
something.
you that you need to do it, like do it, keep going, or, you can make your dreams come true, or you can really push through. I encourage those that feel that or hear that voice to listen to it. Listen to it. And in that time where, I call it my power hour. It's the same as what you do in the morning time, right? During that power hour and you're jotting down those ideas and whatever that little voice, I just say try it. Just write it down and try it and try to develop some type of plan or a small goal just to see, just try it. Like the more I think you try to push it down, it's there. It's like in the back of your head. It's
It's
very faint,
always going
but that voice
to
is there just telling you like, you can do it. You can do it. Come on, follow your dreams. This doesn't have to be it. We're the author of our own story. We're the author of our own happy ending. And I think it's important that we take that magical pen and we write, like we
exactly
write it.
right what you want to see. It's true. If I have a thing I say, if it's not written, it's not real. When you have it up there in your head, a thousand other things are just going to come and flood that out. So you had to write it down somewhere, print a
Mhm.
picture out, put it where you're looking at it,
Yep.
where you are constantly reminded of, what your goals are.
hmm Even with the like positive affirmations, I always say like write them on sticky notes and put them around like the cupboard where your coffee mug is, like
Yep.
I am beautiful, or I am worthy, or I am this, put it around so you can see it because all those things do make a difference and you do feel different. You move a little bit differently. You feel better about yourselves. I mean, motherhood is not easy. It's not easy at all. We have
It's not.
so much on our plates at all times, and yet we're still pushing to make our dreams come true. And so, again, humanizing ourselves and continues to set the example and taking care of our mental health, doing all the things. I think it's key. I think we can do it. I mean, we can do it, and we are doing it.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said, the we're not superhuman because we're not, please take off the cape. Please don't go around, oh, super woman. You are not. You are a woman and you deserve and you're worthy of taking care of yourself and being taken care of. And so, just remember that. So take off the cape. We're not super women. We are just women and we deserve to pour into ourselves so that we can flow.
Absolutely. So, can you let the audience know where they can find you on your socials?
Sure. So the really only social that I'm using right now is IG. So you can find me at Poised Mom. It's POISED MOMS. So Poised Moms. You can definitely send me a DM there. I'm working on a ebook, 30 affirmations for moms. So affirmations to start your day for a whole month. So look out for that. That's also coming soon. And definitely DM me. I'm also working on a mom circle of the group coaching just to get everybody back
Oh,
into prioritizing themselves and talking about how we can, properly do that.
yeah. So keep me posted on that too,
I
because I would
definitely will.
I would love to be a part of that as well. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much, Tanesha. You've been awesome today. You've spit some great and wonderful facts, and I'm so excited. So thank you so much for being a part of Beating You podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And to your audience, thank you all for listening. And Sophia would like to say goodbye. You can
I
come
can say goodbye, Sophia.
back. My personal assistant who never leaves.
She's amazing. Say bye.
Bye.
All right, you guys. Until
Right.
next time.
Bye.